Welcome back to the channel, my fellow seekers of the strange and macabre. If you're anything like me, you love a good horror story. But what happens when the terror comes alive in the games we play? Today, we're diving into 5 of the most disturbing and haunted games ever created. Be warned. Some of these have creepy backstories that will make you think twice before hitting start. The haunting mystery of Polybius, the arcade game that never was. Imagine an arcade game so mysterious, so sinister, that it seems more urban legend than reality. A game that allegedly appeared out of nowhere, caused players to lose their minds, and disappeared without a trace. This is the story of Polybius, the arcade game that might never have existed, or perhaps it did and we're better off forgetting. It all began in the early 80s in the suburbs of Portland, Oregon. Arcades were booming, and kids flocked to these neon-lit havens to escape reality. But one game stood out. A black, unmarked cabinet with a single word etched on the screen. Polybius, unlike the colorful, inviting games of its time, Polybius was different. Its gameplay was said to be both mesmerizing and unsettling. Players reported feeling drawn to the flashing lights and bizarre patterns, unable to tear themselves away. But the experience wasn't just addictive. It was disturbing. According to local rumors, those who played Polybius began experiencing strange side effects. Intense headaches, hallucinations, memory loss. Some even claimed they woke up in the middle of the night screaming. Haunted by visions they couldn't explain, parents began to notice their children behaving strangely. Some stopped sleeping, muttering about voices from the game. Others grew paranoid, insisting they were being followed. Then there were the men in black. Witnesses claimed strange individuals were seen visiting arcades late at night. They weren't there to play. They were reportedly collecting data from the Polybius machines. Who were they? Government agents? Secret researchers? Or something far worse? And just as suddenly as it appeared, Polybius vanished. Every cabinet was removed overnight, leaving behind no trace. Not even a manual, a receipt, or a name for its creator. Was it part of a secret government experiment? A psychological weapon? Or perhaps something not of this world? Decades later, Polybius lives on as an internet legend. Gamers, conspiracy theorists, and paranormal enthusiasts alike have tried to uncover the truth. While some claim to have recreated the game, no one knows for sure if it's the real deal or just another layer of the hoax. But here's the twist. Some say if you find a Polybius arcade machine today and play it long enough, it will start to play you. The whispers will return, the headaches, the hallucinations, and perhaps something even darker. So, the question remains, was Polybius a forgotten experiment? A twisted urban legend? Or something much worse? One thing's for sure. Some mysteries are better left unsolved. Sad Satan. The game that shouldn't exist. Sad Satan first emerged in 2015 when a small YouTube channel called Obscure Horror Corner claimed to have discovered it on the deep web. The game, if you can even call it that, wasn't like anything people had seen before. At first glance, it seemed simple. A first-person walking simulator with bleak, maze-like corridors. But as players ventured deeper, it became clear that this wasn't just another indie horror title. The game wanted something from its players. Walking through Sad Satan is an exercise in dread. There are no enemies, no clear objectives, just a suffocating sense of unease. And then, the hallucinations start. The further you progress, the more the game breaks down. There are unsettling audio clips, some reversed, others laced with hidden messages. Supposedly, these include recordings of infamous figures, cryptic radio broadcasts, and screams, but what truly unsettled players were the random moments of sheer violence. Interspersed throughout the game were grotesque, pixelated images of suffering, but the most chilling theory, that the game itself was haunted. Some who played claimed they began experiencing strange phenomena. Their computers behaving erratically, hearing whispers when alone, even seeing things out of the corner of their eyes. The video cuts to a chilling, still image of a shadowy figure standing at the end of a hallway. And then came the twist. it was revealed that the version of Sad Satan circulating online had been heavily altered. Obscure Horror Corner's original game remained elusive, hidden in the deep web, a place few dared to venture. Years later, Sad Satan remains a mystery. Was it just a clever hoax? Or was it something more sinister? Perhaps the truth lies buried in the deep web, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to stumble upon it. The Binding of Isaac, a game that delves into the grotesque and surreal. But what if I told you there exists a version of the game that's more than unsettling? A haunted cartridge. One that drags its players into a darkness they never escape. I stumbled upon this nightmare in an unassuming thrift store. A cartridge for The Binding of Isaac, hand-labeled with trembling letters, as if scrawled in panic. The cashier, an older man, refused to make eye contact as he bagged it. He muttered something as I left, but I couldn't quite catch it, and I wish I had. When I got home, I was eager to try it out. The cartridge felt heavier than it should have, like it was packed with something unnatural. The title screen flickered and distorted, as if the game were alive and in pain. I thought it was just a glitch, until I noticed something strange. The options menu had an extra choice. Play me. Against my better judgment, I clicked it. The game began as expected, but Isaac's eyes, they weren't the same. They followed me even when he wasn't moving. And then, I noticed the music, a distorted lullaby, layered with faint whispers. It was as if someone was begging for help. The bosses weren't the grotesque monsters I remembered. They were human, or at least they used to be. They screamed in agony when defeated, their faces locked in expressions of unimaginable pain. And then there was the blood. So much blood. But it didn't look pixelated anymore. It looked real. And then it happened. The screen glitched, and for a split second, I saw something. It wasn't part of the game. It was a child, sobbing, trapped in darkness. Their voice, it came through my speakers. They whispered my name. I tried to turn it off. The power button didn't work. I pulled the plug, but the game kept running. The child's voice grew louder, screaming, begging me to help them. The messages felt personal, like the game was accusing me of something I didn't remember doing. And then, the screen went black. Just when I thought it was over, my TV turned back on by itself. There was no game, only a reflection of my room on the screen. But in the reflection, I wasn't alone. I turned around, but nothing was there. When I looked back at the screen, it displayed one final message. You can't save him. I've locked the cartridge away. But sometimes, I still hear the whispers. I've tried to get rid of it, but it always finds its way back. And now I'm warning you. If you ever see a hand-labeled Binding of Isaac cartridge, leave it. Don't play it. Some games aren't meant to be beaten. Tragic legacy of Berserk. In the neon haze of the early 1980s, arcades were temples of pixelated worship. Rows of glowing machines beckoned players to lose themselves in their digital dreams, or, in one case, their nightmares. Berserk was a revolutionary game for its time. Released by Stern Electronics in 1980, it dropped players into a labyrinth filled with hostile robots and the relentless menace of evil Otto, a smiling, bouncing face of doom. But beneath the flickering pixels and the thrilling gameplay lies a chilling tale. A story that begins with a legend of real-life deaths tied to the game. The story begins with two names, Jeff Daly and Peter Burkowski. In 1981, Jeff Daly, a 19-year-old gamer, reportedly collapsed and died of a heart attack shortly after scoring 16,660 points on Berserk. A year later, Peter Burkowski, only 18 years old, met the same fate. He played 2 games of Berserk, set high scores, and then, moments after stepping away from the machine, fell to the floor and died. Both cases were officially attributed to sudden cardiac arrest, but the coincidences were too eerie for some to ignore. High scores, sudden deaths, and a game whose central antagonist is a grinning entity that never stops pursuing you. It's no wonder Berserk became the stuff of urban legend. But what if there's more to the story? According to arcade folklore, one Berserk cabinet in particular has a dark reputation. Found in the back of an abandoned arcade in the Midwest, this cabinet supposedly caused a string of bizarre incidents. Players would hear strange noises, whispers, static, or even their own names being called through the game's speakers. Some even claimed that evil Otto's face would glitch, morphing into grotesque expressions never programmed into the game. Those who dared to play it for too long reported feelings of paranoia, as if something was watching them from behind the screen. And then there's the story of the arcade owner. One night, he tried to move the machine out of the building. Hours later, he was found dead in his truck, the Berserk cabinet still strapped in the back. The cause? A heart attack. Could there be something inherently cursed about Berserk? Paranormal researchers have speculated that the game's intense design, with its relentless enemies and evil Otto's ceaseless pursuit, may have a psychological impact on players. Combined with the game's eerie sound design and cold, empty mazes, it creates a sense of dread that lingers long after the game ends. Others have pointed to the strange numerical coincidences. Jeff Daly's score, 16,660. Some believe the repeated sixes are a sinister sign, tying the game to something far darker. In recent years, collectors have sought out Berserk cabinets, chasing nostalgia or perhaps trying to unlock the mystery. But even today, strange stories persist. Players report unexplained glitches, machines that turn on by themselves, and a feeling that evil Otto's gaze follows them long after they've walked away. So what do you think? Is Berserk just an eerie relic of gaming history? Or is there something darker lurking in its circuits? A cursed game? The dark truth of Lavender Town Syndrome. In 1996, Pokémon Red and Green were released in Japan, captivating an entire generation. But amidst the global phenomenon, whispers began to spread about something sinister. A specific town within the game, Lavender Town, carried a dark and disturbing secret. Lavender Town was unlike any other location in the Pokémon world. It was quiet, eerie, and filled with an unshakable sense of dread. The moment players entered, they were greeted by the town's theme music, a haunting melody composed in a high-pitched, unsettling frequency. This music was said to affect younger players in ways no one could have anticipated. Reports began to surface of children experiencing headaches, nausea, and, in the most extreme cases, engaging in horrifying acts. The phenomenon became known as Lavender Town Syndrome. It's said that the original Lavender Town theme contained binaural beats and high frequencies only audible to children. These frequencies supposedly triggered psychological effects, plunging them into feelings of despair and even causing self-harm. In 1997, rumors began swirling online. Posts on early internet forums describe hidden messages within the game's code. Some claimed that a developer, overwhelmed by the success of Pokémon, hid these frequencies as a form of rebellion. Others suggested something far darker, an intentional act to cleanse humanity of its innocence. Players who dug deeper discovered unsettling anomalies in the game. Distorted sprites, chilling text boxes, and hidden rooms that weren't supposed to exist. One infamous rumor involved encountering a ghost Pokémon outside the tower, one that whispered your real name. These anomalies weren't limited to urban legends. Over the years, modders and hackers have claimed to extract data from early copies of the game. Data that shouldn't have been there, but perhaps the most terrifying detail is what happens when you let the Lavender Town theme play backwards. The reverse theme emits a warped, demonic wail. A faint whisper in Japanese can be heard. Leave this place. Could this be a coincidence? A glitch in the programming? Or something more intentional? The creators of Pokémon have never officially addressed these claims, and perhaps they never will. Whether Lavender Town Syndrome is a myth, a cautionary tale, or a disturbing truth, it remains one of gaming's darkest mysteries. And perhaps, it's better that some questions remain unanswered. And there you have it, 5 of the most disturbing and haunted games in history. Whether these stories are fact or fiction, they remind us of the power games have to affect us on a deeper level. Have you played any of these? Or do you know of any other haunted games we should cover? Let me know in the comments. Dare to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more spine-chilling content. Until next time, stay curious and stay cautious.